everybody, and welcome back to the Kingdom Child video. Um, this is another one that is more, I won't even say a reality dream, but it's something that I hadn't had a chance to write down. So again, I'm kind of going by memory here, but here it goes. So I was in my home, sunny day, maybe summertime. There were a lot of kids playing in the front yard. It looked as though it was the suburbs, very high end, lavish, comfy community, very upscale. Outside, looking through the kitchen window, I saw all the little boys, like I said, were like playing football with my son. And so I did step out and saw about, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 of them out there playing and everything. And so I figured, I guess I would, stay busy. And I turned my back toward them to, I don't know if I was like gardening or just doing something with the hedges and the soil and things like that. So, time went by. They still were out there playing. I didn't really think too much of it. And something dawned on me to just glance up and, check out my son and see how he was doing and if he was having fun. And I turned around and he wasn't there. So I'm like, okay. So I'm looking around, I'm just glancing with my eyes, I'm looking, and I don't see him. So I began to say, you know, like, hey guys, like, have you guys seen, Cameron? And they're like, no, 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 no. So, so I'm like, okay, so I'm kind of like, there was so many kids out there. So I'm like tapping on like, one little boy's shoulder, like turning him around real fast. Like, nope, that's not him, that's not him. So I began to call out to him. Call out to him, call out to him. I'm walking around the house. I don't see him, right? So I get back around to the front and I'm calling him, glancing up the street and I'm glancing down the street and I'm like, oh my goodness, what in the world? Where did he go? Like, what just happened? I turned in my head, just for a second, and there was no sign, no trace, no anything. It happened so fast. So I began walking up and down the street, screaming out, calling his name, calling his name. It's like nothing, no response. It's silent. So by this point, because I made so much noise, the neighbors began to come out and began to ask, like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? I'm like, my son, I can't find him. He was just here. He was just playing with the other little boys, like, so by this point, some time it went by, and after looking up and down and screaming and everything, and then of course my neighbors calling out to him and everything else, um, we decided to just like go on a search hunt, search party. So I'm not really sure who orchestrated it, but the next thing I know, there was a crowd of people that were there in support of, and they all were standing on the left side of me, of the house. If I'm standing in front of the house, they all were on the left side. And I was like, okay, guys, like, this is what he looks like, da 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 da, and you guys go that way, pointing to the left. I'm gonna go this way to the right, and we're just gonna just meet back here. All right. So they began walking, this one big crowd, to the left, and I decided for some odd reason to walk alone and go in the other direction because I knew that there were streets that I still hadn't covered. As I began to gesture in that direction, I didn't even get 10 steps. I don't think I got 10 steps. And there was a police officer that walked up to me, and he was, called my name. He's like, hi ma'am, I've heard, what has happened and things like that. And you know, he said, I just got I just got word, or he said, now I can't confirm or deny um, what I'm about to state, but this is the information that I received. So there was um, an accident further up the road where I spoke with a woman, a lady bus driver, school bus driver at that, school bus driver, and she accidentally hit a little boy. And when I heard that, and me just putting everything together and the timeline and the time that it probably would have taken for him to get way down to the main street in the direction that I was going, I just fell to my knees and I just broke out crying. And I was just like, oh, it was like the worst thing ever. The worst thing ever. Um, so, with that being said, I cannot solely classify this as a spiritual dream, but I can also classify it as a reality dream. Although there were um, parties that I, could identify. Um, but what I will say, when I woke up, because when I woke up, I literally woke up from the dream in tears, literally in crying as I'm waking. It was so detrimental, guys. Like, I have never felt the level of heaviness of the sadness and of loss. And I just wanted to say, for anybody who has ever lost anyone, especially a child, like, my heart goes out to you. Um, a lot of times we say that we can, relate to some people when they're going through that level of pain. But there is just no comparison when you lose a child. My child in the dream was missing. I felt solely responsible. The fact that I couldn't find them, the fact that I got the news, like, it was like somebody literally ripped my heart out of my chest and smashed it with a hammer, literally. Um, and I wanted to share that. I'm sure there's several different ways that we could look at this dream. I'm gonna be honest, I did hesitate to post it because I initially didn't see the significance um, in the post, and I know that most of the things that I do post are more of like end time and things like that. But I do believe that the Lord had allowed me to not just experience it, to be able to encourage the moms and dads and guardians of those that they've lost. I feel like it, He knows all before it happens, and He will meet us where we are, even if it means having to deliver that, um, that news, that information. And as painful as it is, that police officer did not leave my side. He was right there. And I feel like in that, you know, same regard, Christ loves us so much that even when we go through things, we may feel alone. We may feel and feel like we have to carry that burden, but he knew well before. And we just have to trust him and trust the process of healing. I try to look at it from a spiritual perspective, as far as us going by our day to day, and how easy it can be to get content and comfortable in your day to day, right? And to lose sight, not pay attention to, and in a quick moment, things can change. The world can change. People can change. Um, you know, Lifestyles, choices, things like that. And I know we hear about, the narrow path, not many find it. And then the wide path, everybody goes down this path, so many people, and it leads to destruction. And yes, I could have went with a group of people to do the search party, and I wondered why I didn't go with them. But I wanted to take a different route. I wanted to do something, and I wanted to search, and canvas an area that I hadn't, sought out yet. And um, you know, I had confidence that if I did go in a different direction, and look in areas that I hadn't looked, and maybe I would find something, I would find a clue, I would get a step closer to my goal, right? And again, I cannot interpret that well, guys. But I just wanted to share that with you guys, and I do hope that at the very end of the day, that we don't lose focus on Christ. We keep our eyes on Him, because sometimes when we get so comfortable and we conform, or we do what we want to do, or we slack, or we in an instant things can change, and we lose sight, and we become lost, and we lose the things that we love and we hold dear, and sometimes we can't get those things back, right? But we do know that God is faithful, and He will meet you where you are. And so we have to be steadfast. We have to stay in prayer. We have to always be alert, be on guard. Keep your eyes open, your ears open, your heart open. Be attentive, okay? um and even if it's protecting, your loved ones and your kids, and yelling and screaming out to make sure that you're warning everybody, that you know, you're sharing the gospel. You're doing everything that you can do to contribute to the kingdom, you know, um, and that we all play our part, because sometimes if we look up and we lack the things that we should have been doing, you know, we wonder, okay, this dream or this goal or this job or this business, didn't come through, it fell through, it didn't, because we took our eyes off of the goal. And we have to make sure that we allow God to lead us. So many times we do things in our own way, in our own timing, and we know that it doesn't always align with God's timing, right? We know that. And so I just pray that this dream, as a symbol to let us know as a people that we have to stay, like, we have to stay on top of things. We can't get comfortable. We have to we have to remain on guard, on point, and it's the only way, because it only takes a moment to be distracted. Literally 1 second. That's all it takes. And a lot of times we think about all the things that we could have done differently, during that time. If I did this, if I did that, maybe this would have worked, or that, da 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 da, and it's not to beat us up about it or allow guilt to set in, but prayerfully we can learn from our mistakes. We grow from our mistakes, and within these trials, it builds character. It allows us to depend on the Lord that much more, and not leaning to our own understanding, because that will sometimes not even just confuse us, it will allow us to get lost, because the Lord is our compass, you know. So I hope that you guys have gotten something from me sharing this video. Like I said, I really didn't want to, but um, I felt the spirit, like, what, just post it. Don't worry about what people think or say. Again, it's not like I decide to, like, oh, I'm going to just think about this and dream about it. Like, no, these things just happen. And no, in real life, this has not happened to me. But I'm telling you, like, the pain I felt of that disconnect, and I think about the Lord, like, we think we have them, we think we're in a great relationship, and let's say time is up, and then we realize that it's we thought we had something that we didn't, you know. And I just pray that everybody sharpens their relationship with God, and because there's nothing worse than being apart from Him. You know, honestly, that pain, that loss, that separation is something. Again, I don't wish on anybody. So take a moment when you're done with this video, you know, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, and just sit in silence and just thank the Lord and ask for not just forgiveness, but to strengthen, you know, you guys' relationship and get closer to Him. Read your word, you know, just meditate on Him, pray to Him, thank Him, like appreciate all that He's, you know, given us and what He does for us. And um, but yeah, guys, I didn't want to make this long, but thank you so much for sticking with me through all these videos. And I do have another one, excuse me, that I will be posting. And so until then, love you guys. Stay blessed. Um, if you don't know the Lord, today would be a really, really great day to do so. I'll be posting some things on my community tab on the channel, and it'll have some information as far as salvation and things like that, and encouraging words or topics of the day and things like that. But until then, guys, be safe and stay blessed. Bye.